Hi guys, Luke here and welcome to another FIFA 19 Futties player review, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the 92 rated Futties winner Sbc Kovacic. His card looks pretty awesome and he did cost me just under 100,000 coins to complete his Sbc, and in the 4 games that I played him he didn't score me any goals, but he did get me 3 assists and he does have a 4-star big faults as well as 4-star skill moves. Moving along onto seeing him stats, his main standard stats are going to be his 99 shot power, his 92 balance, his 95 short passing, and finally his 97 ball control, and I did also have the powerhouse chemistry style applied to this Futties winner Sbc Kovacic. So for the most part, pretty solid, well looking card for a central midfielder, I'd say, and according to FUTBIN, he's coming in at around 185,000 coins from scratch. To complete his Sbc, you do have to put in an 85 rated squad as well as an 83 rated squad, so I'm sure some of you guys have already got players of around that rating that could be useful to go into this Sbc to potentially lower the cost, and obviously you do get a couple decent packs in return as well. But in terms of using this card, I do use him as a central midfielder. Pretty good for the most part. I do look at the card and I think there are some strong points to him, but there are also some points that slightly concern me. 73 strength, not the greatest for a central midfielder. 74 reactions and 78 composure, again, not best suited for any position in the midfield, if we're quite honest, and 5'10", not great again for a central midfielder. In my personal opinion, I typically like to use central midfielders. We're not talking about CDMs here, we're not talking about cams, proper central box-to-box midfielders. I personally like them to be at minimum over 6 foot, and don't get me wrong, I don't think his height made the card terrible, and I think he can definitely play as a central midfielder by all means. Yes, he can, but obviously there are some stats which I was looking at before I used him, which did raise potentially a few concerns, but I'd say they're nothing to completely worry about. I just don't think he looks maybe the best all-round centre midfielder card. Don't get me wrong, on the face of it, his card looks fantastic, but when you look at those in-game stats, you do start to see a few of the cracks kind of open up. But overall, though, actually pretty impressive for the most part. Certainly in the attacking wise, I was a big fan of him. I did put the powerhouse chem style to try and increase his defensive stats, and they do actually increase pretty nicely, but defensive wise he was okay. But I wanted him to be a little bit better on the defense side, but attacking wise he was actually pretty impressive. 3 assists in the 4 games. His first pro will be his passing. Fantastic passing stats all round. His vision, short passing and long passing are already fantastic, but with that powerhouse chem style they are all increased to 99, which is fantastic. He can ping some insane 40-yard passes, like Steven Gerrard-esque passes, just absolutely fantastic passes all around. How he linked up with the attackers as well was pretty awesome, and obviously 3 assists in the 4 games shows evidence of that. So passing wise, couldn't fault that. That was very good for Kovacic. His second pro as well will be his dribbling. Now, yes, he hasn't got the height of what I usually like from a central midfielder. However, he is a lot more smoother than most central midfielders that you get. Someone like a Steven Gerrard, yeah, he's great. He's got the extra height. He's a pretty awesome card. Now, obviously, love the guy IRL, but he does feel a little bit clunky on the ball, a little bit slow to move with. That's not the case with Kovacic. He's very smooth on the ball. He can take on players. He can take on defensive players in terms of like defensive midfield players or just defensive centre backs and stuff, because he's got that awesome dribbling stats of 87 agility, 92 balance, 97 ball control, as well as his 96 dribbling. Yes, his composure and reactions aren't the best, but apart from that, his dribbling stats all around are absolutely insane, and it actually made him pretty fun to use with the centre part of the midfield. You could, get this guy, you can dribble your way into the box of him. He was pretty fun to use, certainly in that area. And in terms of cons of the card, there aren't really any to him. He's a pretty quick player, which is obviously always a nice additional benefit. He does have some awesome defensive stats, and he would occasionally make the odd tackle or something like that, but I was expecting a little bit more from his defensive play. Strength wise, 73 strength, yeah, it's not great. He would sometimes kind of lose out a little bit, and he did at times lack strength, but I don't think it's anything of massive worry for the most part. It's not terrible strength. He could sometimes defend off other players, but sometimes he would also struggle with it, if that makes sense. And then also his shooting stats, he's got pretty awesome shooting stats with 99 shot power, 94 long shots, 95 volleys, but in game I just didn't really have that many chances with him on goal. I had a few chances, but the goalkeeper would usually just save them pretty easily. But you don't buy a central midfield card for his shooting, you buy him for his passing, his dribbling, his defensive play and stuff like that. But overall, pretty awesome card. Whether I pay 185,000 coins to him, I personally wouldn't pay the full whack, because I think there's already other better central midfield players in the game. I would personally rather have 88 rated Paul Pogba than this 92 Kovacic, in my personal opinion. I think also someone like a team of the season, Bernardo Silva, will probably play a little bit better than this Kovacic card. Don't get me wrong, good card, but just like that Perisic card that I reviewed yesterday, just doesn't represent 100% best value for coins, which obviously as a result of that does bring down the rating that I would give to this Kovacic card. But anyway guys, that is going to finish up this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.